Friends, in this episode, I want to share with you the top 5 things you need to know about entering America and considering to file for asylum. Now, stay tuned all the way to the end so you get all the tips. Friends, welcome to Green Card Guys TV. I'm your host, John Ting, and we practice law all across the United States and across the world, helping you solve your immigration problem. Now, here's the very first thing you need to know if you're considering to apply for asylum in the United States, and that is tip number one: file that application within 1 year of your entry in the United States. Now, the entry date, it doesn't matter if it's with how you enter necessarily. It's just it has to be within 1 year. So let's say, for example, you entered America January 1st, 2022. Then you need to file before January 1st, 2023. Okay. So that's very important. And the reason is because if you file after that date, you have to show facts, demonstrate facts that you've met the limited change circumstances. Okay, so it's very limited in that way, and whatever your reason is for filing after the 1 year, it's probably going to be very difficult to meet those exceptions. Now, so again, whether you enter United States with a visa or not, meaning without a visa, then you still have to file within 1 year for it to be considered asylum. Okay, friends. Now, tip number two, okay, that is you need to have a vaccine, COVID-19 vaccine. So I know there's a lot of y'all that are have not taken it, for whatever reason you have. Um, I'm not going to get into that, but I do want to share with you my screen here that you do need to get the vaccine. I know it's difficult for some of y'all folks, maybe because in your country of nationality, your country doesn't have the vaccines that you want to take. Maybe you don't trust it. Hopefully, it is trustworthy. Maybe you have other reasons. But here's the deal: I'm on the U.S. Department of State website, and the Department of State itself does not require it, but it's through the CDC, Centers of Disease Control in the United States. And so that agency specifically does state from November 8th, 2021, that foreign national air travelers to the United States will be required to be fully vaccinated. And you do need to show proof of vaccination. So even if you are able to get a visa issued to you, but you don't have the vaccine, that doesn't mean that you won't get a visa issued to you, is what I mean. But ultimately, if you travel by plane, then you will need to get it. Okay. Now, I do want to share something else with you is that, however, if you travel, I'm on the CDC website. However, if you travel by means other than by air, so by land, you go to, let's say, like El Paso or any port of entry by land, Mexico to, or even from Canada, then you don't necessarily have to show proof. Okay. Now, uh, but then again, you might want to, if you want less friction, less restriction about your ability to come in the United States, you really should consider trying to get the COVID-19 vaccine. I know that some of y'all are against it, but really, please reconsider it. And here's another thing, okay? And that is Title 42. I've been talking about it in our previous videos that as of today, or even ever since up until today, Title 42 has been very contentious. There's been lawsuits about it, and that is the public health law in the United States that has been allowing the Trump administration and the Biden administration to stop people from coming into the United States. Okay, because they may not have the vaccine, or just flat out not allowing them to come in at all because they don't have a visa, for example. So that's very important and something to consider if you're thinking about coming into the United States to apply for asylum, especially with everything going on with the Russian invasion in Ukraine and even Russian nationals wanting to flee Russia because you're speaking out or have considered speaking out. So that's something to think about. Okay. And by the way, friends, if you are new to a channel, we do offer free 15 minutes preliminary discussion to point you in the right direction. and we're going to share that secret code so you can lock that free 15 minutes. Now, if you are clicked on this video because you have already actually filed for asylum and have been waiting too many years, some of y'all that call our office have been waiting 3, 4, even 6 years, I've heard. You want to check out our video up here on this corner, okay? It's talking about mandamus lawsuit. That's the last resort that you can take if you want an interview much sooner. And the reason, some attorneys don't want to file mandamus lawsuit because they feel bad, because most people, everyone that has filed the timely an asylum application, the 589 application, you have the ability to work. You can get that work permit eventually 180 days after you file the application. So most immigration attorneys I know don't want to disrupt that. But I know many of y'all, especially from countries where you think the government policy could change. For example, like folks from China who came here because of the one child policy. But China doesn't have that policy anymore. So, you might want to consider that's one main reason to consider filing for asylum or a mandamus lawsuit based on a delayed asylum interview. Now, friends, going back to the tips here. Now, tip number 4, do not lie to a U.S. immigration official. So, if you do have the opportunity to apply for a non immigrant visa, specifically B1, B2 visitor visa, some call it as a tourist visa, whether it's for business or for pleasure, do not lie on that application. Now, you can apply for that online, that is DS 160, but do not lie. And here's the thing, because we have received several calls before, um, and they admit that they have lied, or they said that they have hired someone, and that other someone, the consultant, whatever you want to call it, not an immigration lawyer licensed in the any 50 states of the United States, and they have encouraged you to lie on that application. And here's an example. Someone has check marked married, and you put in maybe your significant other's name. Maybe you weren't even married, right? And then, but you do check off that you're married on that application as your way of trying to show the U.S. immigration official that you're going to return back to your country of nationality. That's a big no-no. Okay, so I don't recommend that. And here's the deal. Okay, I'm gonna show them. You have to, because eventually, when you're eligible for immigrant visa, or also known as resident status, a green card, you're gonna have to apply for a waiver of misrepresentation, and that is on the form 601. Okay, that's at least $900, for example, uh, and and then the next thing you need to know is that you need to demonstrate, future, predict, or even presently extreme hardship to a qualifying relative. I won't get into full detail right now, but you have to have a qualifying relative. And so that is a U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident who is a spouse or a parent. It actually can include children on this one, unlike the family unity waiver 61A form. That's a different situation. But again, a spouse, a parent, or child, okay? Or even a US citizen fiance. But the other ones, parent, child, or spouse, they can also be a resident. But you just don't want to go through that situation if you can prevent it, okay? There'll be other videos about how to apply for a visitor visa and sharing tips on that. But you really want to reconsider if you're thinking about lying on your application. It's a significant consequence that you don't want to run into. Okay, so and here's the bonus tip. That's number 5. Okay, and that is because when you have a situation, you're maybe getting married to a U.S. citizen. Okay, or maybe you're already currently married to a U.S. citizen, and you have previously filed for asylum, or you applied for a B1, B2 visitor visa, and you did lie on that application. Then, number 1, you have to file for the waiver, okay? And then number 2, or along with that, you need to notify your attorney in advance because you don't want to run out of time. Usually, if you go to the interview, for the marriage interview, for example, at the local USCIS field office, they're going to tell you that if you're eligible for a waiver, you only have 30 days to apply. that is typically, preferably, you, your immigration attorney, and probably yourself, if you're in that situation, you want more time. Okay, so you want to let your lawyer know everything about your immigration history. And so here's the other thing: if you have filed for asylum and you entered without a visa at all on your most recent entry, you will not be able to have the marriage interview in the United States unless you meet certain exceptions, okay? Which we have a video about that right up here, okay? Talking about those exceptions that allow you to have the interview in the United States. But the general rule is that if you enter without a visa, you do have to go back to your country of nationality. Now, of course, if you have filed an application for asylum, you don't want to go to that country of nationality. You want to go request a third country, is what we call it, to have your immigrant visa interview. So, those are some things to consider. That was a lot there. So, if you have any questions, give us a call right here, 346 330 5888, or you can answer a few questions on our website, greencardguys.com. You can find that link on our description box below. And friends, here's the secret code. You could have guessed it. It's down here on your left, bottom left of your screen, Green Card Guys. And share that code to our cares team, and they will take care of you and get you scheduled as soon as possible. Okay. It may not be with me, it could be with another attorney on our legal team. And until next time, friends, be safe and continue wearing a mask and go ahead and get vaccinated. Take care now.